Good evening, everyone. This is G Thoughts, and this is Let's Talk Perspective. I am here today with my co-host, Magnificent Mo, and Nate the Great across from me to the right.
All right.
And today's topic is going to be about self-help care and mental health. We had brought this topic up about maybe 2 shows ago, everybody. And we wanted to do this topic because it did this time of year, everything with the holidays and New Year's resolutions and people busy doing their day-to-day routines. And especially with us going through the pandemic, I feel like this topic was needed for us to discuss how we do self-health care and how mental health is important in our community and in our daily lives. I feel that most people understand about good eating techniques. I feel that people have a good understanding that they must have some type of form of exercise. And I just want to touch on and light on self-health care as a person, as an individual, as it may do for you, for yourself. And then I also want to touch about mental health, which I have a special guest that will be airing in tonight, a doctor, which is my friend, Dr. Lafayette Pressberry, on to discuss with you about mental health. I think that it's important. I think that we don't discuss it enough, especially to me in the Black community. We also look at mental health as something to be ashamed about or something to be kept as a family secret. And I think that it should be talked about more and have a more understanding as time goes on, especially for our children. Because I feel like most times that we tell them to have a daily routine of getting up, going to school, getting a career, having a job, making sure that your hygiene and being respectful and being courteous to people is a part of your daily routine, but also having self-respect and mental health for your care is also just as important. So I had us all touch in on today with us starting in about what we do for self-health care. And then we're going to bring in the doctor for us to have a discussion about helping you have different techniques to help you with stress and anxiety and setting up boundaries to help you in your day-to-day life. So with that being said, since I did a lot of the talking, I'm going to hand it over to one of my co-hosts so they can tell you what they do for self-health care. And then we're going to go ahead and we'll tie in the doctor, will help you with that mental health. And she's going to give you some suggestions on how to self-health care for yourself as well.
Awesome. How do you go about self-care? What's your regimen?
The way I go about it is if I feel like if I'm like stressed about something or if something is not putting me in the right mood, I find that relaxing, soothing music is the way. So nothing like a good Kenny G record.
Yes, Kenny G is the bomb. Yes, sir.
Boney James.
Oh, Boney James.
That's definitely Boney James.
Baby, if he wasn't married, that would be my new secret boo, okay?
Yeah.
All right. All right.
So self-care looks different for everybody. My self-care, because I have multiple businesses. I also do a 9-to-5 job. I am a mother first and foremost. Dating. So self-care looks different from everybody. So for me, one day it could be music. Another day it could be video games like Tetris, old school Tetris, anything to keep your mind at peace or keep it going. It could be crossword puzzles.
My grandmother used to do crossword
and something that I have to do as a business owner, I have to set boundaries, especially with a family and friends, those that are in my inner circle. I have to set boundaries like, hey, today I can't talk. Even if you could put your phone on mute, especially while you sleep, like I have to put my phone on mute.
Exactly.
Do not disturb. Like, listen, my sleep is very valuable to me,
and that's respectful.
So it's just
does the body good.
Absolutely. Like you need your rest. You also need to detox from social media.
Amen.
Put the phone down. Don't be looking at all of that stuff that's going to get into your eye gate, which get into your spirit. And then now you acting the fool because you done seen 20 million TikTok videos and now you got to do the TikTok video. Okay. So this is what happens. Like when you're overwhelmed with a whole lot of stuff and life be coming at you like this, you have to set boundaries. You have to come up with something for yourself so you can keep your cool. Have an inner circle that's praying for you and with you. Because first and foremost, you need to pray for yourself. But other than that, know your limits. Like, I've had enough of this. I've had enough of that person. Let me eliminate some people out of my life. A lot of people need to do that.
And that's a certain thing. And I really wanted to touch on that because I'm glad you brought that up. Because I'm going to go give you some examples of how I do self-health care. Because I realized over the years that I'm an empath. When I love my family and my friends, your problems, your concerns become my problems and my concerns. I realized during these last 10 or 15 years of my life, I realized that I'm an emotional eater. That comes from stress and anxiety and not knowing how to deal with stress. You know, I pray. Okay. I do listen to music. I had to change my circle many times throughout my life because as you grow into the person that you feel that you have purpose for, so does your circle changes. Everything is not always meant to be rooted and stayed into that category because life does change. And I wanted to take that time to give you just a little tidbits of what I did. I watched a YouTube that my sister had gave me for about a month ago, and her name was Sandra, and I believe her last name was Glass, but don't quote me on that. But at the end of the show and in the comments, I'll give you the subscriber address of what her YouTube channel was. And that woman was remarkable. Okay. When I looked at her and I seen how her intellect was, and I could see what she went through and the things that she did to cope with herself, it was like phenomenal. I seen like rainbows of an aura behind her. And I also had to let myself know that it's okay not to be okay.
Right.
Because the thing is that when you pour out and you're giving love and prosperity into the people that you love and you appreciate, you also have to know that you have to give that yourself time and that break to love yourself. And there's nothing wrong with isolating yourself and getting yourself back on track.
Right.
And before I get into that and show you, I brought some things with everybody today because I wanted to show this. If you're listening, I'm holding up 3 books in my hand. And I also want to just take time right now to let you know you are watching Let's Talk Perspective Live, streaming on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and other top social media platforms. Okay. And then we also would like you to like, follow, share, comment, and please subscribe. And thank you for watching Wjzz Cool TV for the coolest station in the world. We want you to be a part of this family. And thank you, Wjzz Cool TV, for letting Let's Talk Perspective on your social media platform tonight. So with that being said, I wanted to let you know I got this book. I'm a person who loves to write. I am a big journaler. Okay. I've always been like that since I've been in high school. Okay. I've always wrote poetry. I've always wrote short stories. Anybody who knows me for a length of time knows that about myself. And my mother will always, when she goes into a store, she always buys me books because I've always been a planner and an organizer, because things to me, when it lines up right and I can have time to edit my thoughts and put my things in actions, I can check off what I do and what it needs to be done. And that's how I accomplish a lot of my goals in life, especially with me being a divorced mother and, you know, the oldest child, and people relied on me a lot. I had to find some type of structure for me to help myself. So this is just like a plain journal book. It says Dream Big, that I just put different goals and plans and inspirations or different decorating ideas to take myself away from the normal day of stress, the stress of working and cooking and cleaning and organizing and self-reflecting on myself. So this is what I do for a topic for me to keep your tracks and things in order. And then a good friend of mine, and this is a really cool story. I had a friend that it was a new person that friended me on Facebook. And we actually became friends. And I actually visited her this year in 2021 for her birthday in Florida. And her name is Shauna. And I want to tell Shauna, thank you so much. We got to know each other through, meteor conversation. And what happened is that she said, you know what, Glovita, I read this book and I know this journalist. And I think that you need to read this book because it inspired me. And she said, I'm going to send it to you in the mail. So I gave her my address and she sent it to me. And the book is called I Am Enough. And what it is a 90-day spiritual nuggets of recognition, of embrace and authentic of your authentic self. And the author name is Harold Leftfield or Leftfall. I'm not pretty too sure how he pronounces his last name. But for over the last 4 months, every day, what I do personally, I take 30 minutes to an hour. And it depends on what's happening to me in that day or within that week. I start my day with positive quotes. I start my day with a positive insight. I wake up in a positive mood, telling myself that I'm going to conquer anything that I established for that day. I'm going to put a smile on my face that day. Now, with anything that I cannot handle or I cannot get completed that day, guess what? That's okay, too. Okay, too. It's another day. Okay? Because we try to, sometimes I feel like people who like to help people, we have that Superman mentality with that cape blowing.
Right.
And a lot of times we are human. We have to take time to say, you know what? I gave my love and my energy to all the ones that I could today, and my cup is empty. Okay, so now I need to take a step back and I need to fill my cup, which means I need that silence. I like to read. So I read a lot of novels and a lot of books. And I take that time to self-reflect. I take hot showers. I listen to music. Some days I take a hot soak in my tub. I just sit and I just meditate and I pray. And then I also like a lot of inspirational books to keep my mind active and motivated. And then I also watch, when that's done, when I take like 35 minutes, 40 minutes of that time, usually is at the end of the day when I kind of have time to myself, I watch a movie till I fall asleep. And then I start my day all over again. But before I even get on to that, I also wanted to touch on that another friend gave me another book. And these are books that I've read. So I wouldn't give you anything that I didn't do for myself. And I like to drop gems on people because you never know what may touch you or what may work for you or what may be something new for you to do. But in the thing of self-help, I want to just lay this on the floor. You got to be consistent. Okay?
That's true.
Nothing in life that you want to do that implant an effective effect on your life, you got to be consistent with it. It's like getting up, brushing your teeth, and washing yourself in the morning. If you don't apply it and if you don't have a ritual to it, it's going to be hard for it to take place. People think they need instant gratification all the time with things to work. And sometimes some things takes you some time to get accustomed to. Okay. So with that being said, my friend that gave me on my birthday, this was a beautiful book. And if you're a mother, I invest for you to get this book, even if you have grown children, because you can help your grown children if they have children. This book was phenomenal. The author name is Sonia Morales, and it's called Breathe, Mama, Breathe. That's the name of the book. And it says it's a make a everyday moment and a chance to find calm and feel more connected. So these are 5-minute mindfulness quotes and strategies for busy moms. This book was actually really, really good. I would suggest this book to anybody, okay? Especially if you're a parent, because when you're a parent, it's hard to try to get that time to yourself, but it's so necessary for you to make that time for yourself because you have to replenish yourself in order to help other people. And I just wanted to bring these little key factors in that I usually use and that I do on a daily basis because to me, if your mind is strong and you start off positive, because tell me, I'm a person of real. The waters will always be rippled. The waters are always going to come with turbulence. But it depends on how you want to handle that turbulence. It's how you're going to get out of it. And most people don't understand that when you need somebody to talk to, I'm going to keep constantly because it was told to me and I didn't realize how factual and beneficial it was to seek a therapist. Okay. A therapist is going to help you look at things of your own problems and help you resolve your own issues that needs you. Right. And sometimes your family, your friends, your mother, your father, your cousins, your brothers, your sisters want to help you, but a lot of times they don't know how to help you or how to direct you in the way that you need to go so you can feel happy within yourself.
Exactly.
People look at therapists as taboos or, I'm strong, I can handle it. And nobody's not saying that you're not strong, but everybody needs help to challenge themselves to be the better person in their life.
I agree. That's why with me, I think about life in a total different perspective because a lot of people don't get within themselves, and sometimes life can hit you extremely hard. I'm one of those
Amen to
individuals.
that.
Listen, if I told you my story, you'll be clutching your pearls. Okay, so but for me, because of my lineage of where I come from a line of strong women,
Women.
a line of strong individuals that persevered. That's who I am. It's in me. It's in my DNA. And for me, like just asking yourself questions, like, don't have access to Google and all of these social media outlets, and you're not using it for the positive. So I ran across like 25 questions. I'm only going to read like a couple of them. So it says, here are 25 self-care questions that you can ask yourself every day.
Wow. Now that's inspirational.
Every day.
Every day.
Number one, how do I feel at this moment?
Mm.
You have to ask yourself questions to make you think. You know, what's my answer to this question? So that was number one. Number two, what do I crave in life?
That's a good question. That is an awesome question.
Yeah.
What do you crave?
Yeah. Number three, what makes me happiest? The happiest. What makes me the happiest?
And that's another good. Yeah. I'm glad you talked up on that because you know what? People think that people make other people happy,
which is not. No, you gotta make
nobody is not responsible for your happiness.
Okay,
but you.
That's true. That's true. Number four, what are the positives in my life?
See, yes, I like the way that's challenging your mind.
Gotta always think positive. See? So you can always stay positive.
And you know what? People don't think of that for me. I think they just don't think for themselves.
And they like quick gratification.
Oh my goodness!
People like a hot pocket.
People that microwave society. That's what happened.
Microwave food.
Yeah, microwave society.
It's a brain kill for me. It makes people stop thinking about a different way. Like when we grew up, we didn't have internet. We didn't have Google. Okay, I mean it was coming in the mainstream as we began to go to school.
Yeah,
but we had games that made us think.
Right.
And music.
And we had music. Mm-hmm. We had to play with each other like to have conversations. Come up with games and conversations to challenge our mind.
Yeah, so we're a different type of breed.
Sure.
Generation. We definitely cut from a different cloth.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's why I can say like I had community. I had people that I was looking up to, even though they didn't know that they were my mentor. I'm looking up to these black strong women, like, oh, okay, that's how they do this, how they do that. Okay, and I kind of put them all together. And like culture, like music, 90s music, your family, like all of this stuff makes you who you are, including the things that you go through in life. And one of the other ones was, I'm kind of skipping through because it's a lot of them. But I'm definitely going to post this inside of the chat because I want y'all to look at these 25 questions. And even if you answer one a day, 10 a day, 5 a day, please answer these questions for yourself. Number 5, what am I thankful for?
Amen to that.
Yeah, what am I thankful for? Number 6, what brought me joy today, this week, this month?
There you go. Could have been something like waking up.
Right. Mm-hmm. What am I putting off? That was number 7.
That's a good one.
That's number 7.
Procrastination is a killer.
It is. It is
a killer.
Number 8, what is making me feel down? And who? Okay, you got to eliminate 2 people out of your circle, like I said before. Who was pulling from your cup and not filling it back up?
Mm-hmm. That's the point that I was.
Yeah, you have got to know those people that are draining to your spirit and your soul, and sometimes your pockets. And you have to know, you have to get rid of those. Yeah. You have to get rid of those people. Yeah,
look, you are the CEO of your life. You got the power to hire, to fire, and to demote.
Oh, I love this one. Number 9. I agree, Nate. Number 9 is, what do I love about me? What do I love about me?
And these are all self-reflection things.
Oh man, this is
that you have to challenge yourself to do. Because a lot of times I come across people that are sad. Mm-hmm. They always tell me, Glow, I don't know where to start. Or I don't know where to begin.
Jesus.
You begin to look at what you like and what you don't like. Mm-hmm. So you have to add and you have to subtract as necessary.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you got too much going on your plate, it's hard to cover each floor.
Yes,
if you're trying to clean every floor
That's
with
good.
every situation, and every situation is going to be different.
That's good.
So, and I'm a big positive motivator about that, because a lot of times you don't know what kind of words or what type of impact that you have an effect on someone. Words cut deep. Either they can heal or they can scar.
There you go.
And I always tell myself every day, I want to wake up and I want to be influential to one person. And it don't have to be nothing. People think when you say you want to do something magnificent or powerful, it's got to be this big thing when it comes to money. It is not about money. It is your time. It is your patience. It is your understanding. It is your wisdom to know, okay, you know what? Somebody said something to me that I may not like, but it's called constructive criticism. And you have to also understand where that person, if they tell you in a loving way.
That's true. Look at it. Take it in.
Take the time to look at it. Okay? Because we're not all perfect.
Nope.
We are flawed.
There you go.
Absolutely.
Okay?
And what that person's saying can ultimately make you better. If
Come
you
on.
have the mental wherewithal to comprehend.
Yes. I'm all for that. Listen, I come from a household where my mother, she didn't sugarcoat nothing. She was straight up no chaser with no ice. Okay. So I came from that. So I try to surround myself with people that have that same loving perspective and thought about people. Like, they love people so much, they just want people to be whole. And that's why where I am in life now is that wanting people to be whole. Even people that come into your life, you want them to be whole, because at the end of the day, even though some people, we're not perfect, we have imperfections, and we still press beyond those imperfections. And that's one of the things about being a human being that we have, especially if God wake you up in the morning, you have another day to get it right. Especially with yourself. So back to the list. Here are 25 self-care questions to ask yourself every day. So I'm on number 10. What makes me feel my best? For me, I don't know about y'all, but for me, it's combing my hair. Oh my goodness, my hair, doing my makeup, throw a little lash on, what make me feel my best. I try to put my best foot forward, even if it's even if I'm not ready for a photo shoot, I try to dress like I'm like going on a photo shoot.
And that is actually a good thing
keep
to
photo
do.
shoot fresh.
Yes, because you're like, you know what, you got to put on a fresh face and a fresh pair of anything, clothing or anything to embrace yourself.
Even if nobody's it, you still got to show up.
Because you are it.
Yes.
You are the one.
Yeah, absolutely.
When no one's watching.
Absolutely.
Everything
is
do it for yourself.
Okay. I'm gonna stop at 11. Okay. 11 says, what is my mantra? Do you have a mantra?
No, I don't actually.
Do you have a mantra, Nate?
I actually don't have a mantra. I never really looked at it like that.
You know what? My let me see. I'll give one of mine. If you come into this world knowing that you are loved, and if you leave this world knowing the same, then anything and everything in between can be dealt with.
Woo! I like that. Now that was really good to my spirit to hear that. It really was. I don't know. I don't really have something that I say to myself every day. I just know.
And that's what, and that's something for me to think about, because
we need a mantra.
We do need
going
a mantra.
Into 2022.
Going into 2022, because that's a good way to how to look at things.
Yeah.
And you don't want to I feel like things that does work good for you, it's good. But what's wrong in advancing that and doing something different to better yourself?
Yeah.
It's nothing at all with doing that. And I think that a lot of times within the Black community, because I only can speak from the community that I come from, a lot of people have a lot of different scares when you start mentioning counseling and you start mentioning therapy and different strategies, because they want to feel less than. And I don't feel like it shouldn't even feel that way, because our mind can hold so much. We can adapt and endure to so much.
That's true.
Why not try to take a different approach to help yourself? Because you don't want to hurt the circle that's around you. Because you know what happens most times when we get into these certain situations, we start hurting the people that's closest to us.
You want to know what's so crazy by you saying that? In my head, I'm thinking about, like, the older you get, you start seeing yourself for who you really are.
And that is a key point.
So them ugly parts be like, hey, I'm right here.
Looking right at you.
We didn't you didn't address this situation right here. Like them ugly parts,
Yes.
bloodline stuff start picking
Yes.
his head like, hey,
And
hey, I'm here.
Mhm.
We haven't dealt with this right here. And a lot of times it'll be in your face and you have nothing else to do but to face it. It might be hard, but guess what? This is where you have therapists,
Exactly.
counselors.
And this is the reason why when your family and your friends come to you and if you feel like everybody is at odds against you,
Mm-hmm.
you need to start looking at yourself saying, you know
Oh,
what,
yeah.
maybe it's something that I need to adjust or change.
Yes.
If everybody is having that same perspective.
Yes. Yes.
You get what I'm saying?
Right.
And if I don't want to be offensive to anybody that I love
Mhm.
who's trying to help me.
Mhm.
Right.
And a lot of times when people come to them with any type of criticism, they feel like, oh, I can't do that. But yes, you can. We can change anything that we want to do in our life.
Mhm.
But we got to have the positive motivation to want to adapt to that change. And don't
Mhm.
say, oh, yeah, I need help and I want to change. But you don't do nothing to apply that change. Okay?
Yeah,
Because people that's in your corner want to help you, but we can't help you if you don't want to help yourself. The first action begins with you. The first set of love of action begins within yourself. I can love you all day.
That's true.
I can want the best for you,
Yeah.
but you got to want the best for you.
Right.
So with that being said, this is my lovely, gorgeous Dr. Miss Lafayette Pressberry with us on Let's Talk Perspective. Hello, doctor.
Hello, hello. And let me just say, I am a future doctor. Right now, I'm just a licensed therapist. So I want to make sure that I don't offend anybody who's earned that title just yet, but I'm on my way.
And I'm respecting of that. Thank you.
How you guys doing?
Great. How are you?
Welcome.
I'm excellent. Thank you.
We was warming up the stage for you before we let you come in. And I thank you for taking your time to entertain us today with your thoughts and wisdom and knowledge.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for inviting me. So what are we talking about?
We just got through finished talking about self-help care and what the forms of different self-care that we do to motivate ourselves in the morning, to help our family and our friends, and what we do to ease our day and our mind, and how about getting therapy or seeking counseling is not for me. I feel like it's a taboo within the Black community to seek that type of help because they want to feel like they don't need it or that they can help themselves. But what you're doing is damaging your circle that's helping you. You're hurting them in the process of not looking at what the bigger issue may be.
Okay.
So that's what we was warming up to and telling people that it's okay to say that you're not okay, but let's look at some different forms of help to help you so you can be the best that you can be.
Absolutely. If I can chime in on that, I think mental health treatment and getting support is becoming more acceptable the more we talk about it.
Yes.
I definitely think, celebrities talking about it helps to normalize it because a lot of people, aspire to be them, or they feel like, they are the experts for whatever reason. But I think the other thing is that people need to think of mental health like they think of their physical health, right? You go to the gym because you want to be healthy, you want to be fit, you go seek therapy because you want to be healthy and you want to be mentally fit. We never know when something is going to happen or when something is going to trigger some type of mental health crisis, right? And we think that we are equipped to handle things that get thrown at us, but sometimes we are not. And sometimes things are beyond our scope of ability to handle. And so there's nothing wrong with getting a little support and a little help when you need it. But of course, it's nice to have that support ahead of time so that you don't have to, be so low that, now you're in a crisis situation. So
exactly, because what happens is that we start using our love support system as punching bags instead of a help resource.
Yeah, sometimes.
Absolutely true.
Right.
And I believe everything what you're saying, because that's like people believe in an advocate of eating healthy and going to the gym, and that's all good. And you're supposed to do that because it strengthens your health, your mind, your body, and your soul. But let's talk about your mental, because if your mental is off or if you're always low, that's only going to take you so far.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think the other thing too, I think that we live in a perpetual state of something, right? Whether it be anxiety or depression. I think that we have this false sense that a mental health issue looks a certain way, and it doesn't. And it
It,
doesn't.
and it doesn't. And it's
Yeah.
like we all can have strength in different places and different things, but we need that encouragement that it's okay. You
Yeah.
know, let's get a different perspective. Let's see what the real issues are, so they're not occurring issues in our future relationships, whether
Yeah.
it be business, kids, your spouse, anything that we put our mind to.
And sometimes we're carrying baggage that's not ours to carry. So we need to give it to somebody. We need to put it down. You know,
Yes.
we can be okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome.
I think Glow right here, because see, I know Glow outside of here. Glow is the person that everybody cling to when I have to tell her as one of those friends, hey, they're giving you too much.
Right.
You can't handle that. You got your own. Like, I'm that person in her ear, hey, they're giving you too much. You don't have time for that. Get that back to them, because that's not your. That's what I have to tell her.
You know what? That is a good point, because, you know, sometimes people think because they're talking to their friends or they're talking to their significant other or, you know, a spouse, that person can fix or cure them. And you know what? Therapy is more than just about talking to somebody, right? There are skills that we learn. You know, there's a lot of background that goes into it. It's a science, right? And the therapist isn't there to fix it. They're there to guide you towards whatever solution you're working towards, right? So, you know, it takes more than talking. It takes work.
It does.
Yeah, you got to put in that work.
And you know what? It's good to have a circle foundation around you, because even Lala has told me this before about, you know what? Lovita, you cannot be Captain Sable. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Tell her, Nate. Tell her, Nate.
Yeah.
I'll be over here with my little Batman cape.
Yeah.
Like, I'm coming. What we need help with? What we trying to fix? What we trying to adjust today?
Right. And you know, the other thing to that, you can't take on everybody's stuff, because it takes you down too. You know?
Yes. And I had to grow wisdom in understanding that.
Mm-hmm.
And I was told that so many times. I was like, okay, I hear y'all. I hear you. But okay, I'm going to still challenge it anyway. And I said, let me go sit down. That was too much. And I need to have a seat. Let me be quiet. Let me privilege.
Yeah.
Yeah, because people pull from her a lot. I'm like, Glow.
Whole lot.
No.
Yeah.
Give it back. You don't need
tell
that.
all my business, okay?
I'm just saying.
Well, you know, I know you, so they ain't telling me nothing I don't already know.
I know. See, y'all know. She know me. So we formulated together because I brought you in to discuss mental health, and I sent you some questions so we can be organized, because I know mental health can go a lot of different ways, so we can be on schedule. So I gave Lala our questions, and she was going to just give us some little techniques and answers on the questions that we got.
I'm ready. I'm taking notes.
Okay. So do you want me to just go through the list, or do you guys want to ask me? Because you may have questions that, you know, stem from one of my answers. So you let me know how you want to do it.
I'm like, I can ask you. I have my list right in front of me. I can ask you.
Let's do it.
I think this is a great start to actually going into the conversation. What is mental health?
Yeah, so that is a great question, because I don't think people really know what that means. I'm going to give you guys a textbook answer, though. It's our emotional, psychological, and social well-being. And basically what that means, guys, is how we think, how we feel, how we act. It's how we handle what life throws at us, right? It's how do we cope with stress? How do we cope with loss? How do we cope with unique experiences and situations that might come our way? All of that is what encompasses mental health.
Great. My other question was, what do I do if the support doesn't help?
Ooh, so there's a couple things. I think one of the things that people have to do is really understand why they're seeking help, and they have to have a clear, goal, clear idea of what they want to work on. You can't just go to therapy and be like, I'm here, fix me, right? Or just go in and say, you know, I need your help, but you don't know where you want to start. Everything has a starting point. right? And I think one of the best ways that I can answer this question is when you guys decide, anyone decides that they want to go to therapy, one of the first things you need to do is find the right fit for you. Interview your therapist. Don't just go to them because somebody said they're good, or somebody said, oh, go to this person, they can do it, right? Many therapists have specialties, things that they really, really go out of their way to become experts at. So you want to make sure that you're getting with the right person who even has the training to help with whatever issue you're dealing with. Um, yeah, the other thing is that every therapist has a unique approach and style to how they do therapy. Some people just listen. If you don't want somebody that just listens, that therapist may not be a fit for you and you will feel like the support is not helping. If you need somebody that gives you homework, find a therapist that does that. So I would encourage people to ask tough questions during your consultation and have a consultation. Talk with them about the things that are important to you and what you're looking for. And if you don't feel good about that conversation, then keep looking. Keep looking.
That's I'm glad you brought that up.
Mm-hmm.
I've had a lot of people come to me and tell me that therapy didn't help them and they didn't understand why they were going to therapy because maybe that wasn't a good fit for you.
Yes,
Maybe
yes.
it wasn't what you were looking for in the course of you seeking help.
Exactly. The other thing that I would say, and I won't rattle on too long about this particular question, but make sure you're ready. Don't go to therapy just because other people tell you you need to go. Because you'll get in that room and you'll be so resistant that nobody can help you. So you got to be ready. You got to be open. You got to be willing and understand that, number one, it doesn't happen overnight.
Amen.
It takes time. Okay. And it may take longer than you think it needs to take, but you have to give it a chance to work. Again, the therapist doesn't have all the solutions. You have to put in work. You have to apply what you're learning in therapy to your real life. Okay. And then you have to be realistic. You may go in with a specific goal, but you may come out with something completely different that you didn't even realize you needed. So, you have to be open and willing to allow the process to do what it does as long as you do what you're supposed to.
Okay.
All right. My last question was because I had a lot of lists, but I want them to go ahead and
Okay.
because people need to ask questions.
Yeah, that's why I said you be ready.
Don't walk around 50 and 60 because there's so many people that are not married. And it's because people are not 100% authentic or healed within themselves, so they can't come within a union.
Yeah.
People are lacking a lot. They're lacking a lot.
People are so set in their ways that they don't want to open their mind, expand, or think about anything else. They think, oh, I live a long life. I don't need to pretty much do much of anything, but you do, because life is a constant learning classroom.
It is.
The day you quit learning, that's the day you die pretty much.
My goodness. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good right there. Yeah. So my last question was, how do I know when I'm unwell or that I need a therapist?
That's a good question.
That is a good question. I would just say that you are the expert on you. You know when things don't feel right, when you're not functioning the way that you should be functioning. I think you also need to listen to the people that are around you, because sometimes they'll be able to identify something before you are ready to acknowledge that that's what's going on. Yeah. Unless the person is severely mentally ill, like if they're experiencing some type of psychosis or something like that, that's a little bit different. But, unwell can mean so many different things. Yeah. If you're anxious all the time, if you have excessive worry, those are all signs of things that you may need a little support, a little help, somebody to help you kind of get to the underlying issue. What's really causing you to feel that way. If your habits change, right? Like you can't get out of the bed in the morning, or you're not motivated to do things that used to bring you enjoyment. Like all of those things could be signs that something is going on. So just trust that you. And when things don't feel right, even if you go and you talk to somebody and they're like, you don't necessarily have to have a diagnosis to go to therapy. I want to put that out there too. Sometimes people have situations that require support because you don't know how to cope with it, or it's just overwhelming for you. Mm-hmm. Therapy doesn't mean there's something wrong. Okay.
Okay. That's a clear sign. Thank you for identifying those signs, because the more you know, the more you grow. So I'm gonna let you go ahead and ask your question.
Now I have a question, and my question is, What's the best way to deal with someone who's struggling with mental illness?
Mm. So, there it's going to be challenging depending on what that mental illness is. I think one of the best things that you can do is get some education around what it is that that person is dealing with. I think it's important to be open about what you're experiencing. And I think that you have to exercise some compassion and some patience. It's not your job to fix them. And I
Exactly.
think sometimes people feel like I have to step in and fix this, or I have to step in and, be the person that's always looking out. If that person is getting help, then your job is just to be a friend. And I think you should continue to do that. And the other thing that I think people miss a lot is asking that person what they need from you. And then you have to decide and you have to be able to give them what they need. It's just like any other situation, right? I was just having a conversation with a friend of mine who, I was telling him about an experience that I had that was not necessarily positive with a guy. And he immediately jumped in and started telling me all this stuff. And I was like, wait a minute. I just told you I couldn't take that type of feedback right now. I just needed you to listen. And if you can only friend me the way that you friend without giving me what I need specifically in this moment, we can't be friends. I don't want you to friend me the way you want a friend. I need you to hear me. I'm telling you what I need from you, and I need you to give me that. So that's part of it, right? You have to be a good listener and you have to be able to provide them with what they need. But first, you got to ask.
Yeah.
So, did you have another question? Would you like me to?
Well, yeah. What are some books to read or podcasts to listen to that center around like mental health?
So it kind of depends. It kind of depends on what the issue is, right? What I can do, which will probably be the best way to approach this, is I can send you guys some resources because I'm in many therapist circles where there are a lot of therapists who have YouTube channels, podcasts, they're authors, and I must say, I'm all about promoting my people, so I try to give resources to Black clinicians. So most of everything that I give you will probably be from us. I definitely believe that you can get help from any clinician that is culturally sound. However, I think that sometimes there is benefit in getting help from someone who looks like you and understands a lot of where you come from. So I can send you guys some of those resources.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. Yes, indeed.
Yes, indeed.
And then one of my questions was a lot. I know we talked about this before. How do you help cope with people who have lost someone,
Yeah.
especially this time during the holidays? And that's a major thing for me,
Yeah.
especially within the last 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah, COVID has been very difficult. I think that, a lot of people have experienced a lot of loss right now, in the last 2 years specifically.
Yeah.
Um, I think with grief, it can be very tough when you lose someone. I think like what I said with the other question around, coping with somebody with a mental illness, like you have to be patient, you have to show compassion. I think with grief, what people need to understand is that it never stops. People just learn how to cope as time goes on. It is a continuous process. I think one of the best things that people can do is accept that this person is going through this grief process right now. You can't expect people to just be over stuff because you feel like they should be over it or you feel like enough time has passed. It's not up to you. Everybody grieves very different and grief comes back to you very different. So you have to show compassion, you have to show patience. And sometimes it's not about doing anything for them, it's just being present for them. Right? That's where the questions come in. Like it's really important. And I also think that we need to be conscious of what we can do to actually help someone. Sometimes people need to go to therapy for someone to help them through the grief process if they're stuck. There are different stages to grief as well. And just kind of understanding, where that person is in their grief. But again, it gets a little complex when you try to play therapist when you're not a clinician. You know what I mean? So I would say be a friend to them. Ask them what they need. Be present if that's all they need, and just give them the time that they need to grieve. You know, we can't bring people back. You know, and we can't fix it. You know, so.
And that's a good valid point. Because
Mhm.
everybody does grieve differently, and everybody does cope with things differently.
Absolutely. They may
Like,
not want you to do anything. You know what I mean?
that part, yes. Because sometimes you just need to just be a listening ear.
Yeah.
And
Just give
that's
them love. Yeah.
give love.
Mhm.
My thing was, and I didn't learn this until later in life, how to create healthy boundaries.
The B word. The B word.
The B word.
The boundaries, because I'm all about boundaries. Okay,
Line you don't cross.
baby, Flo got a lot of boundaries. Okay?
You have to.
I had to develop them for me personally,
Yeah.
myself,
Mm-hmm.
because I get deplenished too much.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I just want, maybe I don't know how to ask, but I'm just asking for maybe somebody who doesn't know, because
Yeah.
with somebody's support system,
Mm-hmm.
the support system gets tired sometimes, and people don't seem to understand that.
Yeah.
You have to create those boundaries so you can have a sane mind.
This is true.
You need boundaries for your own sanity and really for theirs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let me ask you, Glo, because you said that you set boundaries. Tell me how you did it.
Okay. When I start feeling overwhelmed and anxious,
Mm-hmm.
that was my flag for me that, okay, I'm enduring too much.
Mm-hmm.
Step back and not answer phone calls.
Okay.
I need to answer you when I'm at a full state of mind where I can tolerate any problems or circumstances that you give to me, because I realized that I was interpreting too much and trying to answer every call and every text that came to me. And
Yeah.
I realized that, and then I felt bad and guilty when I couldn't.
Mm.
But I realized that I'm human too, and
Yeah.
that I can't be there for you when you probably want me to be there for you.
Mm-hmm.
And I got a lot of strife in these last 4 years.
Okay.
Those boundaries, because I said, but you know what? I feel a lot better, and I'm
Yeah.
able to be a better mother and a better person for myself to even function on a relationship that I wanted without taking all in those responsibilities that I felt like I had to attend to.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
started saying, okay, if I'm feeling tired, if I feel like my mind is not there or that I'm feeling edgy, then
Mhm.
take a step back, and I probably don't need to talk to you today or maybe the next day.
Right. How about you? How about you guys? How do you set boundaries?
I just tell them straight up, because I run multiple small businesses. I help other entrepreneurs get stock for their product for their store locations.
Yeah.
I have no problem telling people when I'm available, when I'm not available, and I have a set of questions that they can answer, and then I'll reply when I have time. So I
Yeah.
have to set boundaries. I have to have things set up in place so I can be organized, so I can mentally free and able to operate in how I operate. So I have no problem setting boundaries at all.
Good.
And like I said earlier in the show, turn your phone off. Detox from social media. Have that phone on silent.
Yeah.
Automated text response.
Yes, that does help.
Develop a small automated text response, especially if I know it's either from a hair client or a store owner. I have a set of questions for those individuals that I just send, just so I can respond when I'm available.
When you're available.
That's good.
When you're able to get that chance. Nate, what about you here?
I just tell people that, when it comes to boundaries, that, hey, look, I don't mind, listen to your problems. I can be your sounding board. I'm that. But, that's all I'm here to do is listen. I can't save you. I can't save you. Jesus saves. I just listen.
I love that you use that. Jesus saves, honey.
He straight up no checks.
I'm not mad at it.
I know that's right.
Gotcha. Free and clear.
If people drain you too long, they will drain you as long as you let them.
Absolutely.
Exactly. And that's the point. And people don't even understand how sometimes, because they're on the other receiving end, how it drains you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I had to understand that it has to be those boundaries. And if I can't talk to you that day, that's okay. I got to create that atmosphere for myself.
That's true. Because all of y'all said it. It's communication, right? That's how you start. That's how you set them. You have to tell people what your limits are. And think about it like a grocery store, right? Like this is the best analogy that I can use. When you walk into a store, you immediately know how to behave, how they conduct business, what their hours are. You know what I'm saying? No shoes, no shirt, no service. You know what I mean? We're open from this time to this time, and they don't take calls, they don't take visits, they don't do anything outside of those hours, right? So it's the same way with setting boundaries with people in your life. You have to let them know your hours of operation and what your limitations are. You know what I mean?
Office hours
are from 9 to 5.
You know, protect your peace, protect your space.
That's it. That's it. We're gonna get a t-shirt. Protect the peace.
Protect your peace. That's what you have to do. Just tell people and feel comfortable.
And feel comfortable at it, because it's like, at first it was a give and take for me with that. And then I had to say, you know what? It's okay to say that because I can't do it.
Yes. Don't feel guilty. Don't feel shame. And don't feel obligated. That's the thing, right? Because if somebody helps you, I think it's a natural thing to feel like, oh, I got to help them back.
Exactly.
That's it doesn't always work that way. It doesn't. It doesn't.
And my cousin said something that made a lot of sense to me, and it took me to get it, but once I got it, I was better for it.
Okay.
My cousin, Marlon Wilson Williams, said this. She says, my peace is non-negotiable.
Correct.
And she's right.
That's true.
That's one thing you can't have step on. Because once your peace is gone, so is the rest of you.
Exactly.
Yeah, people have to learn how to be more selfish. I promote that with my clients. I tell them we think selfishness is a bad thing. It does not have to.
They put a taboo on, it's bad to be selfish. No, it's not. That's how you protect your peace. That's how you set boundaries.
Yes. All of that. Those are all selfish acts. When you put you first, you can't pour into other people if your cup is empty.
Exactly. So
and I
appreciate you saying that, because I think a lot more people need to hear that.
Yeah.
You do have to make yourself a priority in order to help yourself or anybody around you.
Absolutely. We got to function.
Problems are identify, what can I do instead of what can't you do? What can I do for myself?
So true.
And I just wanted to bring that out today because I just felt like, during this time of year, people say, oh, Chloe, we don't know about that topic. But I was like, I think it's more it's more prevalent than ever that we do it, because a lot of people have made a lot of sacrifice and lost a lot of people in the last 2 years. And that's what we really hear the pour out is, I'm grieving.
Yeah. Yeah. And people need to grieve openly. It's a good thing. It is a good thing. Let people know you're hurting. I think the biggest thing that you can do whenever you're going through any type of emotional crisis is to feel what you're feeling. Don't try not to cry. Don't try to be quote unquote strong, because what does that even mean?
That's a good statement. What is quote unquote strong?
Yeah, because there's strength in tears. I tell my clients all the time. Please.
Yes, go ahead, cry, get it out. Understand that you're upset, but don't make it your livelihood that way. Because now you're not breathing. Now you're just making a path for yourself that you can return. It's okay to be upset, but let's not stay there.
Yeah, you can't live there. You can't live in sadness, but take the time that you need to heal and to cleanse your spirit.
Exactly.
Sure.
You're absolutely right. And then, with that being said, I figured, thank you. I think this has became a success. I hope that helped one person out there today.
Yeah.
I hope that it was knowledgeable. I hope that it was informative. And that we can all work together on a monthly basis, once a month, and discuss it. Because I figure the more we discuss it, the better openly that it would be. And I want everybody out there today to say you're watching Let's Talk Perspective. You are streaming on Facebook. You are streaming on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and other top social media platforms. Please please subscribe and share and comment. And thank you for watching Wjzz Cool TV, for the coolest station in the world. I am your host. I am G Thoughts. This has been my lovely guest, Lafayette Pressberry, my co-host, Nate the Great. and my other co-host, Magnificent Mo. We appreciate your time today. Thank you for tuning in. We're going to come back and have another discussion with this on a monthly basis. And I appreciate everyone for watching today. It's been a pleasure. And I will be talking to y'all soon. And everyone, have a good evening tonight.
Good night.
Good night,